Yes, let me set my phone up so y'all can see. There is the beloved Hair Solutions trolley. Both of them, prototype 1 and 2, generation 1 and 2. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to figure out where my share button went. It's fine.
I know for yesterday I had went live on LinkedIn and we were having tech difficulties too. So I'm like, you know what? As long as we roll with the punches and keep going, as long as you show up,
Yes.
and that's what I'm working on, just showing up regardless of what happens. Also, sometimes I let things like that get in my head, like, oh my God, maybe this is a sign. It's like, no, it's a sign to see if you're going to keep going or not. You
Hello.
know, I be
Like,
psyching
what?
myself out sometimes.
I'm sending it. I'm trying to send it to like a multiple people. I'm like, y'all need to be here. What are you doing?
Let me see. I'm
Oh
gonna
god.
put mine too. I'm gonna send it to everybody.
You know,
Cause why not?
they'll be okay.
A little notification won't hurt nobody. Like pop up.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so the idea behind, for those who don't know, who are tuned in, hi Kilo, is that I'm gonna give you the floor since you've done that a few times. So first of all, Khadijah, don't do this. You're gonna introduce just who you are first. You know, Yumi's big on that. Like, you need to say who you are, not what you do first. Like, who you actually are, what
Yes.
you do, and then like how we can support you, what you actually need right now. Like, what is the like? It doesn't have to be one thing. I always tell people if it's easier, think of it in one thing. But if a bunch of things come out of your mouth, I'm not gonna be like, you're doing too much. You're asking for too much. I'm never that person. I'm like, oh, that's it.
Oh, that's right. I know that's right.
So the floor is all yours. Hi, everybody.
Okay, so I am Khadijah Davis, founder and CEO of Davis Beauty Solutions. And Davis Beauty Solutions is all about providing cosmetologists of any field tools to help enhance their passion and keep them in love with their passion, right? And my first tool that I'm introducing to the game is the Hair Solutions Trolley. Bow. Now, the Hair Solutions Trolley is a device used to install hair extensions, hold placement for it, really secure the hair for you. And aside from that, we have a really cool feature that definitely separates us from the competition, the water heater. Instead of going to the salon and you're getting your hair braided, you think about when you're in the salon, right? Or even a braided salon, right? The hair is on a chair. They're asking you to hold it. They might have the hair in their mouth. They might have it in a corner somewhere. They might have it on a device that doesn't have more than one function, or a device that's not even used for hair. So the Hair Solutions Trolley will provide them sanitary benefits because if you think about it, especially now, the way the world is, we're having all these colds and viruses and flus and COVID-19s and things. Um, we want to make sure that you don't put the hair on a chair anymore. People sit on a chair with their outside clothes, right? A device that only has one feature. You ever saw like those really big wooden this, it looks like it's really intended for for people who do knitting and yarn.
Yeah.
But stylists got so creative and said, oh, I can use this to hang hair. But it doesn't have wheels. The sustainability is not there. It only has one function, right? If you think about, just to fast forward a little bit, if you think about how many times stylists have to prep hair, think about, we're just sitting on Braided Shop specifically. They're having client after client after client that they have to prep for. With the Hair Solutions Trolley, you can prep for the entire day. That's how much this device holds hair. Not only that, again, going back to this water heater, You might see people put hot water in a plastic bowl, in a plastic bucket, in a pot, a coffee boiler. We wanted to provide a safe way to heat up water. There's people who got second-degree burns from that. There's people who have spilled hot water and burned themselves, burned the client. And literally in my device is the water heater. And you're legit able to put water in this thing. Hold on. Backing up with my chair. Turn this thing on and it will heat up the water for you. It's metal. All of this is metal. So we were also thinking about sustainability, right? It can rotate. Hold on, let me get this right for y'all. Hold on. So y'all can see. So it can rotate 360 degrees. It has wheels, so it's mobile. So we wanted to be able to provide you guys with something that can have multi functions. Long story short is what I'm trying to say. It has more than one function, more than one feature, more than one benefit. So yeah, in summation, that's what we all about here. Sustainability, a professional aesthetic, time efficiency for the stylist. They can either leave work early because this helps cut time in half for them. They can have an easier work-life balance. Lately, people have been about work-life balance for the sake of their mental well-being. Or they can add more clients and build up their revenue. It's totally up to you, you know? So there's the hair solutions trolley.
You know, I'm not gonna let you get out of the last question. What kind of support? You already knew it was coming. What support or like what do you feel like you need right now? It can be a bunch of things. It could be one thing or like what's pressing on your mind. Because as much as like we talk about work-life balance and as much as we talk about like all these great things we are doing, it's like we still at the end of the day have the hardest time. I don't care how many people we're helping out, have the hardest time, especially Black women in America who have a business, in particular, asking for help.
Yes, I do. I do have a hard time asking for help, and it's so weird. I don't know where I got that from, but I actually am fundraising currently. We are fundraising to give you guys generation 3 of the hair solutions trolley, which is going to be more compact to help those stylists who travel, who move around, and still provide the same sustainability with metal material. And again, to get this trolley out all over the world, because this is hair is just not a Black woman thing. All women get hair extensions. There's all different types of hair extensions, all different types of installation methods. And we've tested this device for 3 years, and every extension method can be held on this device. So we are going to be worldwide, and we need your guys' help to get there. We are currently fundraising for $35,000. So we're going to keep going until we get there. So you can join the donation by going to my website, www.davisbeautysolutions.com, and click that button to donate and be a part of our legacy. Help us get this thing all the way across the world, all over, so that when you walk in the salon, you get the same experience.
Sorry, I was trying to type the website as fast as you were saying it. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I can do this. Let's go take a second. And of course, it doesn't want me to pin it. I'm like, I just want to pin it, and now it doesn't want to let me. That's fine. TikTok.
I was trying to see. Oh, it doesn't let me comment. That's okay. I'll drop it in the comments for you.
Okay. Because I was like, I commented, but I don't think it's going to let me pin it, which is like, what's the point of commenting if I can't pin it? But it's okay.
It's okay, TikTok. We're gonna find a way through it. We're gonna find a way through it.
I don't know. Like, are we gonna keep pressing? Yes, we are. So, does anybody have questions about what Khadijah does? Because she's doing the most. When you like, when I first found out, I remember when I first found out. So, for those who don't know, I was Khadijah's program director in the Pioneer Progress program, and so I got to like read all these submissions, right? But like, I wasn't choosing because I was like, "There's no way I can choose because there's so many good ideas in here." Because we had over 70 people apply. It's our first time doing it for the company, and we were only allowed to select 10 people, and I was like, I'm not doing it. I was like, I have friends who applied. I was like, there's so many good ideas. I was like, and if we want to go into astrology, I'm a Libra, so like indecisiveness is already by nature. So I was like, first of all, like I was like, so like the rest of our team did that. And Khadijah was one of the people that we picked, and we were like so excited because we knew this idea was like massive, and the fact that like she already was like, look, I know like people think of hair and they like automatically think of black women because there's like an art to it. There's all these art, like hair is like an actual art, and
Yes.
like all these shows, but like it's not exclusive to us. Like as much as like we probably are like it's weaved throughout our culture and we're so intentional about it. Think of all the other cultures who like take care of their hair in different ways that other people don't understand, but they don't have access to stuff like this because nobody's thinking like that. They're just trying to like make sure everybody like passes it down from generation to generation. They're like, oh, like nobody else is gonna get us or even look out for us because like this is a cultural thing. And it's like, no, there are people who are like, no, I literally want everybody to win here. Like I want everybody to be able to use this and actually for it to be a global thing. And that's the people I'm trying to connect with and trying to like bring brand visibility to is the people who are like doing things that I know like for a fact this is gonna be global. Like this is gonna be an international thing because everybody can literally use this. I was thinking like I know people who like have like model agencies and I know photographers, I know all these people, and I was like, they need this stuff because on set, you do not want to have to be doing like hair and you got like 15 million contraptions around here, and then that thing that you need that has no wheels is all the way over there. You're like, I ain't got time for this.
Yes, cosmetology schools, like if you think about it on a smaller scale, like there's literally salons in every city and there's multiple salons in every city. You know what I mean? So I think it is so important to get this in front of as many people as I can to just share awareness. I think word of mouth has been great to me so far. Um, Meeting connection after connection, bringing my invention with me, reintroducing myself. I'm gonna keep reintroducing myself till I don't have to do it anymore. Do you get what I'm saying? And I've been to over 7 different states already with this device. Like I'm gonna keep going until I hit another country. So, like how you said, I love how you put it. That's exactly my mind. This is a global thing. People like in Europe, they're Japan, Tokyo, like their concept for hair, beauty, like all of those things, they're so innovative. And I can't wait to touch ground over there and introduce what I have so that maybe I can inspire somebody to not only use my device, but hey, let's partner up. I got an idea that could take this device through the roof. Like I'm open to it all, you know? So we're just gonna take it one day at a time, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, Seth.
One day at a time, that's all you can do. Like, because at the end of the day, if you look too far in the future, you're going to stress yourself out. You're like, I got 10 million things to do. Wait a minute.
Yes, I have to stay present. And I love how you brought up astrology because that is one of my um, favorite things to look into to help me map out things. So, astrology has also been one of my favorite things to tap into. Like, man, there's so many different ways you can understand what you have going on, you know? So, not to get too deep, but
It's okay. They already know. Like, for the people who tune in all the time over here, they already know, like, don't say, like, it's not that deep because I will take it there if you let me. So, like, I'm like, look, don't say that because I
I
have
love it here.
been. I'm like, look, I will take it there. Don't do that.
Yes, yes. I lately I noticed that my I think it's my Mars, something about my Mars and Leo And right now it's like an intense time. I think it's like Pluto and stuff like that. So this is a time where I have to be very specific when I'm communicating
Mhm.
so that I can get my point across. And I'm just really loving how much it's already written for me to just follow the directions.
Mhm.
And I only know the basics, but I can't wait until I could fully understand my chart.
Yeah.
Like when it goes to the, because there's like houses, there's planet in the houses, there's stelliums, there's degrees, like it's all of this juicy goodness, right? And I'm just like, okay, let's take it one thing at a time because it's a lot to learn. It's a
It's a
lot.
lot. And then even past that, like people then start getting into like there are like herbs and like different things that are associated with like each sign. Like once you start getting into that, and you're just sitting there like everything is connected. Why? Like, why didn't anybody tell me this? Like that is the biggest thing I always tell people. Like everything and everyone is interconnected. I said so as much as like a lot of us are doing things for the first time, maybe in our own families, or like we're the first entrepreneur, or like we're the first like out of our friends or anything like that. I was like everything and everyone is interconnected. So for me to like be doing things like small business snapshots live where I'm bringing like people like you on to like talk about it, or like our spirituality and like faith, and like we're like, oh, we can't talk about that stuff, or like what we're actually passionate about outside of business because that's going to be weird. I'm like, no, that's the thing that makes you different. I guarantee you, like if you started making memes for whatever reason, like every now and then, or started sharing memes that other people have that like relate to like cosmetology and like hair stuff, I know they're out there. I don't know what they look like. I just know they're probably out there like to your page. I guarantee you somebody be like, I didn't even think about that, or I relate to this, because people be sharing memes that I'm like, I feel attacked as a, I'm not even a public relations girl, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, why do I feel attacked by this? Like, my friend Fatu has like PR Girl Manifesto, and she'll like share like these memes, and I'm sitting there like, I feel attacked. Okay, I'm technically not a comms girl, but I feel attacked. Why would you say that?
Yeah, just reading us for film.
like, like, excuse you.
Yes, I love what you're doing, Sid. I really do. I think that this is so honorable to um Issa Rae made a really interesting comment that stuck with me. I seen this comment, I want to say over a year ago, and I still keep it with me. And she mentioned how everybody tries to network up when we should be networking across
Yep.
and looking around. Who is your peers? Collaborate with your peers. You know what I mean? Like they're just as hungry as you are,
Yep.
and we all at the end of the day have the same goal. So why not stick together so we can rise together? It's you can do so much more if you create community, and that's what you're doing here, and it's amazing. And I'm just honored to be a part of this.
I like saw your name pop up. I said, yes. I was like, I've been waiting. I was waiting. I knew it was coming. I was like, I'm not going to pressure her, but I know it's coming because God already didn't said it. I already knew.
Yes, I said as soon as you mentioned it, I was like, oh, I need to do that. Small Business Saturdays, like that is genius. I love the name. I love who's doing it. I know how passionate you are. You know what I mean? Like, so I was just like, I have to be a part of this. Let me pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing.
Look, I was like, nobody. I'm the type of person like somebody can't tell me that they have like a business, or like it could be a shirt, it could be like something like they feel like it's obscure, like they could be like, oh, nobody's gonna want this, but they like are putting it out there, and I'll stare at it and I'll be like, oh, people need to know you, and they're like, wait, what is happening? And like all of a sudden I'm just like running with like whatever it is, like
Yes.
talking about it to everybody that'll listen, and they're like, Sydney, what is happening? And I'm like, oh, you told me. Like, you should not tell me if you don't want people to actually know, because I'm gonna go everywhere and tell all the people about it.
Let me show you something really cool while I'm here. So, one of the things that I really love
Mhm.
is that, and again, like it's a mixture of cosmetology, legacy, astrology, um, what's the word that I'm looking for? Anyway, I'm gonna say the story first, and then it's gonna come.
Okay.
So here is Granny. This is Granny.
Hi, Granny.
Granny had her own salon when I was growing up.
Okay.
And it was a part of my routine to be in her salon. Here's her salon. Here's her next to some trolley device that they had back in the day. And I just thought, wow, what if I recreate this photo? I don't know if you can see. Is the sun blocking it?
The sun is kind of blocking it, but I can see like parts of it. Yeah.
Let me see. Okay. Boom.
Oh, now they're going to show for me? Really?
It doesn't? Oh my God. Okay. Well, Granny had her own salon and she trained my godmother there.
Mm-hmm.
And my godmother later on ventured out and she got her own salon years later, right? So now I'm in high school. So this is my godmother here. And she's in my grandmother's salon learning, right? This is me when I was a little chicken nugget. And I was in her salon just cleaning up, sitting there, just being a part of the ambiance, watching people go through their therapies and all of that thing while they're getting their hair done. Because, you know, that was our therapy and it still is. And I thought to myself, how cool is it that when I was a kid, I was in a salon. When I was a teenager, I was in a salon. When I was an adult, I was a part of the salon lifestyle. I do not do hair. I'm not a certified cosmetologist. I grew up in it, so I know what it takes to complete a hairstyle, right? I was prepping hair for them. I was cleaning up behind them because they needed assistance. So when I left college, this was 2013, and I was helping my godmother in her salon and I was separating the hair. And it's again after every client, all different types of hair extensions. And I'm like, this is too much for me. Like, my mind couldn't wrap my head around it anymore. I'm like, there has to be something greater than this. And then the creator just had this little idea and placed it in my head. And I couldn't unsee it. Right? So I wrote it down on paper and then I showed my godmother and I'm like, Biscuit, look at this. Like, I think we should make this. She's like, girl, you're going to need a lawyer. And I was like, what does that mean? She was like, well, there's nothing like this on the market. So you're going to have to get a lawyer and create this and then get a patent and all of these things. And in 2013, I thought of it. I still have the paper to this day. And throughout the years, I would sit it down, pick it back up, sit it down, pick it back up, right? And it wasn't until I was pregnant with my daughter, this was 2017, and I just had this urge to like create. Like, I was also in my nesting phase, so like I was just very creative. And I did not put it back down after that. I kept it going, right? So I'm pregnant at the time, literally, right? And then I was pregnant with the Hair Solutions trolley for a long time. And it wasn't until 2020 where I got my patent. So I got my patent approved in April of 2020. And that inspired me so much to bring it to life. In December of 2020, I got my first prototype created. And from there, it was on like popcorn. I was like, okay, we're about to hit the streets with this thing. I'm not sure if you heard of them, but Black Girl Ventures was my first pitch competition.
Oh.
And it was at the PayPal building. It was a big crowd. I had to pitch my baby to the crowd. And I was so nervous, but when I tell you I ate that thing up, the whole crowd was like, ooh, ah. And I was just like, y'all get this? Y'all understand the concept? And when I noticed that total strangers who do not do hair on a daily basis, but have that experience of the hair salon, what it's like, all those hours and things, because I was expressing to them the benefits of it, right? And when I realized they could grasp the concept, I was like, oh, I got to keep going with this thing because they get it. So it's a need here. And again, I just kept going. I kept pushing. And now we're on our second generation device. Okay. And I could just look at it and be like, wow. And now let me just back up. It's not easy. It's not easy, right? It's not easy. And I talk to my village all the time about like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, where to go. Like, and one of the main things I just keep coming back around is, girl, you better have faith and you better pray. And you're doing a good job. You just keep going. Don't stop. It'll come. Whatever that needs to come to you is going to come to you. And that's exactly what's been happening. And I had this really cool opportunity to speak on a panel at Curl Fest. And I'm still amazed at that because I'm like, wow, I was talking in front of a sea of people. Like, who would have thought little old me, you know? And I was just like, this is why it's important to network across. And you never know.
Ever.
You never know. Because all it takes is, I used to think that I had to have a grand network of like 100 people. It's like, girl, no. You have a grand network of the right people. Those 10 people right there is what you need right now. So again, thank you for bringing me to your platform because you never know who's watching us.
Nope.
And and who's gonna pick up your idea and be like, Sid, I love what you're doing. Let's take this to a grander scale. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have that opportunity. So I think the fact that you're consistently doing this is the only thing that can make this thing go bigger, right? Is that consistency.
Yep.
That's what I'm learning. Like, to stay consistent no matter what. It doesn't matter who shows up in that moment. You know what I mean? Just keep doing it. Because all you need is one person.
Literally.
So thank you again. I just thought it was so cool to just like bring up the story of how the Hair Solutions Charlie was even thought of. You know, and just explain to my background a bit. I think it's really cool that somebody who doesn't do hair for a living. I could do a few flips and tips and glues and sewing, right? But it's for me, right? But I thought it was so cool that I knew exactly what cosmetologists needed because I grew up around it. And I saw the many different ways to install hair by touring to different cities and what they used in specific areas, specific cultures, you know what I mean, how they install hair extensions. So I'm very grateful for the education that I continue to receive about this. As I take my great big old notebook and I jot it down, you know what I mean, and just keep going from there. So thank you again, Sid.
Oh, you're welcome. I was like, girl, you can keep talking. I was like, I feel like people like keep coming in here. That's why I keep being quiet because I'm like watching people come in here that like, I'm like, oh no, they definitely need to know Khadijah because I'm looking. I'm like, I was like, I have no idea who's gonna reach out to you, but I'm just like, I'm seeing collabs in your future. I don't know who it's from yet, but like, and it's funny because the second you said Issa Rae, I said, God, is she about to bring up what I just shared on my story the other day? Because I share it every time I find it, and you said it, and I said. Network across, not up. And I'm really big on that because I think so often, like, she's right, like, we get blindsided because, like, these people have power, they have numbers, they have, like, this, they have that. It's all, like, and y'all, if you know nothing else, all that glitters is not gold. You don't know how them people got to where they are. You don't know what they sacrificed. You don't know who's actually in their circle. Their circle could be large and it could be full of the wrong people.
Yes.
And you wouldn't know until you got in it, like, all that glitters is not gold, not every opportunity. And like sometimes we really cannot, like we'll have discernment and like we'll feel off, but because everybody else is making it sound so great, we're like, let's just go for it. And then you're like, oh no, I should have listened to my intuition. Intuition is a gift from the creator.
Yes.
Do not listen to your intuition. If your intuition is like absolutely not, I don't want this, that's probably God. I mean, like you should
I love
probably
that
go.
you said that. I love that you said that because I feel like that's what got me here. It was nothing but God, I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, little old me, like to have this grand idea, there had to be a specific connection with the creator that I have in order for me to receive that grand idea. And for that to be in 2013 and we're in 2024 and I'm still blessed to separate myself from what's happening now, it was only God's grace. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So, and again, when I look back at my ancestors and the story, I'm here to be a better version of what they already left for me to pick up. You know what I'm saying? They put it down, they accomplished what they accomplished, and now it's time for me to continue their legacy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think as as a woman in this world today,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what tomorrow going to bring, but I know what I could do today.
Mm-hmm.
I could make some kind of impact today.
Yes.
You know, and I could change something today. I could do something today that's going to pay off no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I just thought of this, but I remember watching Nipsey's funeral. And one of my favorite songs that Nipsey has, his brother quoted it. And Nipsey said in the song, like, I could die today, but I made the set proud. So meaning like I could lead this world today, but I made some people proud of me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel. I'm like, if God see it be tomorrow, what I left behind for my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
baby girl gonna eat it up.
Hello.
And I think that's also another thing that I'm peeling back. I do a lot of thinking. Notice I say I think. I bring her everywhere. She's 7 years old. And I bring her everywhere from the convention to Talia Wajid, my pitch competition, Bad Girl Venture. She's been with me to this state, that state. Like, I take her to some of the events where it's like you could bring children. And she's like, I know my mommy's an inventor. I know about Davis Beauty Solutions. She's in my content. Like, and what she reminds me is just to enjoy what's happening. Like she really legit loves what's happening, like in the most purest way. Like she's not thinking of going viral like how I am. Like she's just thinking about having fun with mom.
Yep.
And when I look at her, I'm like, oh my God, there's my reminder. Is she here for me? Honestly, I just made the portal for her to come through, but I know that baby is here for me. Like she here to monitor me. And I look at her and I'm just like, you know what? Like Khadijah, just have fun. Like the real world and being a part of um, entrepreneurship can make you feel pressure to be in a certain place by a certain time, look a certain way, talk a certain way. And Sanaa just reminds me, show up and be happy. Love what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I can say. Like, just love what you guys are doing. If you have something that you are really driven to complete a task, a goal, whatever it is, stay in love with it
Mm-hmm.
and keep that joy because that's what keeps you creative. It keeps you inspired. It taps into that motivation. And as long as you keep having fun with it, you're going to be okay. You're going to get somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and y'all don't rely on motivation. Don't be like, I have to be motivated to do this. Sometimes you don't have to kick your own butt and be like, no, I got to be disciplined enough to just
Yes.
take a step. Like it don't even have to be like the biggest step. I just have to complete one action. I don't. I want to make sure this language is inclusive because I know not everybody can take like an actual like physical step, but like to like what is the one inspired because I'm really big on like I can't remember who the original creator is, but I believe KJ of Black Food Fridays did this thing where he like talked about tenants and like having like tenants for yourself. And one of the ones he was talking about was like he doesn't like doing things out of like obligation, like he wants to do it out of like inspired action. And I was like, I'm gonna change like flip that, or he said something, and I was like, I'm gonna make sure I say guilted obligation versus inspired action because a lot of people will guilt you into like trying to do something or try to use shame or and that's unfortunately a lot of what hustle culture is. It's fear based, it's guilt based, it's shame based. But if you actually like think about God, that's not what he operates in. For those of us who believe in the creator, that is not what he operates in. He's like, who told you to be ashamed of the what? I didn't say that. Like,
Right.
hold up. So like I'm like, okay, let me like if I'm feeling guilt, like I feel like I'm have to like I'm feeling so guilty about doing this, then I need to not do it yet because my heart posture is not even right to put in what I'm supposed to put in. So I'm like, let me just like take a step back. Let me rest because his big thing last night I was like, I need to do this review, but also I'm tired. And he was like, if you don't just like take a second, don't do anything, take a few hours, then come back to it. And the review was like, I was like, oh, now it's just like flowing. I was like, oh, never mind. I see. Okay. like, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think the other people need to, the other thing I want entrepreneurs to remember, especially like any creative in business, is that whether you're face based or not, like the art of the pivot is a beautiful thing. Like pivoting, like do not be like people might know you for one thing and you'll be like, I don't like this doesn't feel like the direction I'm supposed to go anymore. I don't feel like I'm the person that's supposed to be like birthing this thing anymore. Like what I was supposed to do while I was in this niche in this industry is like I've done it. I was like, and now I feel like there's something else. Like I've evolved past this, and not in the sense of like these people aren't involved, but in the sense of like where I'm going next. Like this is, I need to let this go. And we have a hard time a lot of the times letting stuff go. I was just deleting domain names and getting rid of stuff that I had for years. That I was like, I'm gonna put this out in the world and da da da. And I saw somebody the other day that was doing something similar to what I had been doing. I said, that is my sign from God. I said, that is my sign. I need to let this go because there's somebody doing what I used to be passionate about and like really know was my zone of genius. I was like, because I've changed, because it has grown. I was like, and I need people to like, I'm not saying like it's gonna happen for everybody, but there are some people that like we are supposed to evolve and like change and pivot because like the expertise we have because of those areas is actually going to influence what we're about to do. And I'm like, do not be like, I'm not saying you're not gonna be afraid, but do it scared.
Yes.
Do it scared anyway. Like and the worst thing that can happen is what? Nobody sees it. Did you do what God or the creator or like the higher power that you believe in told you to do? Yeah, then you're good. Because at the end of the day, who did you inspire, impact, or inform? And if it's just you, you still did what you were supposed to do. That's how I
Yes.
live my life. Like I'm not. If it is one person that tuned into this live today, it was going to be. If it was zero people, I was like, I don't care as long as we do it because I can still use it for other content. I can
Yes.
put it on YouTube. I can put it. I can push it out other places. I was like, I'm not worried about that. I was like, but if we get people, like that's awesome.
Yes. Yes. I
So,
love that you mentioned that. And the art of pivoting is what I'm learning, right? On an everyday basis because sometimes I have those creative roadblocks, right? And doing nothing is also productivity. You know, like when I hit that creative roadblock, I'm going to stop and pivot. And most of the time, that pivot is me worshiping what I need to do for my body, whether that be taking some time to just not think at all and to give myself the praise that I need, the affirmations that I need to be disciplined enough to move forward. Because you're right, like you don't always have the motivation to get up and do it. And there's something that you have to dig deep within inside of yourself and pull it out. For me, a lot of the times it is also music. Like, oh my God. Music and me go together so bad.
same.
And I try to figure out because my selection is so broad, like anything from rap to jazz to just live bands or like R&B, pop, you know what I mean? And oftentimes my selection is rap. And it could be rap from the 90s. It could be rap from that's going on right now. Like, but there's something about that aggression
Mhm.
that inspires me to just be like, oh yeah, like I feel that. It's most of the times like I don't even relate to the things that they talk about, but it's just how passionately they're saying it. And as a woman of color, I speak sound. Like I feel like that was one of our first ways of sound. Like so the melody, the what's the word that I'm looking for? Melodic sound that comes with music,
Mhm.
whether it could be that drum, that bass line. Oh my God, it just moves my spirit and it just be like, all right, girl, let's go. Here we go. Pick it up. Now you got a rhythm again. Here's a sound. Like, what are you gonna do to it? Move your body, right? All these clusters of emotion that are stuck in your body. Oftentimes the only thing you could do is move them out the way by moving your body.
Mhm.
You know? So remembering that too, because sometimes I don't move my body. Like I could be sitting still at my work desk for 8 hours and not move my body, and I think it's insane to constantly do that to myself. You know, like stand up, do some jumping jacks, do some exercise, walk the block, like you know, do something to move your body to move those emotions. Whew.
Yep.
We getting deep, Sid. Hold on now.
I told you, I was like, it doesn't every time. It don't matter. I was like, it always happens with at least one person. Like we'll be like, it'll be like surface level, and then all of a sudden it'll just hit a pivot, and I'll be like, we just rolling with it because whatever it is, like somebody needed to hear it. That's what I always give it to. I'm like, that's why when I was like, there's nobody after you. So if like this conversation goes longer because of whatever we're talking about, I'm not gonna cap it and be
Yeah.
no, we need to stop talking right now. That's not. That's never how these operate. It didn't even have a time limit at first. I was just trying to fit in as many people as possible before. It used to be like whatever happens happens, and whatever conversation happens. Like my conversation with Bree, and I don't think you've met her, but like with Bree was like an hour. We were on there for an hour. And because I was asking her questions, because I was like, well, what about this? Because she's, a marketing like multimedia agency. She has a multi-million like dollar like multimedia agency in the works. Like I can see it, international and everything. She's studying like Latin American culture and how to do business there, and like learning Spanish and stuff. So she's one of those people that I'm like, nah, like y'all need to know her, and she's in her 20s. Like I'm like, girl, like
Let's go, Bree.
like be on live. Like you need she's one of those people that I was trying to get on live too, and I was like, I know it's gonna come. Like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And then it happened, I was like, yes. Gave her that live. I was like, you do whatever you want with that. She's like, I should have dressed up. It's like, it's okay. Like as long as you got the information out. I was like, because at the end of the day, like most people, even like when we're like, oh, we should present our like best selves and we should like dress this way. And it's like, what do you want to show up as? I always tell people like, you won't get what you get with me. Like some days I might like come dressed up because I'm getting ready to go somewhere, and other days I'm gonna be in like a sweatshirt and my like head wrap on because I'm like,
That's how I feel today.
that's how I feel, man. Y'all gonna get real honest like conversation because at the end of the day, the conversation's not changing just because I put on something. Like I'm still me. I'm still. It's the same way I do my podcast. Like I'm like those things. I'll have like a plan for a 15-minute conversation. I'll look down. It's like an hour later. I'm like, how did we get here? I'm the only one on the podcast. How did we get here? Like talking to y'all. And I'm like, it's okay. It's okay because whoever
Yes.
like needed that message.
Yes.
So I think the thing that I'm doing now, for those who know, because God has told me to go ahead and speak on it, is like I was trying to find a way, because music is big for me too, but I was having this issue with trying to figure out how to, because I was like, I know God is leading me to talk about my faith like more openly, and I was like, but I also know that I need to be like in the entertainment industry in some way, and I need to like be about like community and like not competition, but like literally community. What does that look like in modern times? Like especially with the access that we have nowadays. Like we can really reach anybody anywhere. Like I have people popping on here that I know are not in this country right now. Like, and I was like, so what? And I've been building a global community as much as people probably don't know. Like since I was probably in like my early 20s, like I've reached people like all over, and I'm like, that should not feel as normal as it feels to me, but like it's okay.
Yes, it is.
Like, and then the culture and like there's just cultural things that I like know about, whether it's because I've traveled or because like I grew up with it. Hold on, this thing is trying to like pause my live, and hold on, we are on a roll here. Like, and I was like, what is the thing? And so I started a new project called Off the Record, A Kingdom Unplugged. And the idea is that like I'm trying to find, like I'm big on finding God and like everything, finding the creator.
Yes.
Is the ultimate creative. Yeah, he created all this, and you gonna tell me that he like does not care about like music, about like songs that I listen to? Like, he's like, secular music bad, never listen to that. I'm like, no. I was like, because some of these people be like, it's secular music, and I'd be like, oh no, there's no way that God is not involved in that. Because what did you just?
Yeah.
He's like, the dog's barking, I'm dropping things, but like, I was like, okay, and then like film and like just like movies and like the themes in movies, and I'll be sitting there like, this feels like a Bible verse. Like, what chapter of the Bible is that? I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, I had to watch Damsel all over again on Netflix because I was like, I'm an action movie girly, but I just don't talk about it. And I was like, nah, I need to watch this again and talk about it because what? Your intuition is a gift. when intuition whispers, pay attention is the subtitle of what I wrote. I was like, because from 3 minutes in, my radar was like, like we should just like the movie should end right here. Something is off. So I was like, this pivot feels weird and uncomfortable. I think that's the other thing. Like as entrepreneurs, we have to unfortunately comfortable with like being uncomfortable. Like you can't avoid it. There's gonna be something that you're just like, I don't want to do this.
Yes. Yes.
Doing this. And at the end of the day, there's probably somebody who can do it better than you can, but like sometimes we just can't afford to hire that person. Sometimes like we don't even know how to go about looking for that person to fill that role. And so it's like, okay, what are you willing to do though to make this like dream a reality? What are you willing to do? Is it worth it to you? And I think those are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. We need to stop asking everybody else. And if we have like believe in a higher power, believe in God, like ask God first, because who's the ultimate business strategist? You think all these people on their own that like talk about God? No, they came from somewhere. So like talk to him, be like, this makes me not uncomfortable. Can like, is there something that I'm just not paying attention to that I could use to make this more comfortable? Like, or am I just gonna be uncomfortable the whole time? I just need an answer. Like, so I can know where to go.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look, so this is making me mad uncomfortable because like I'm writing again and I haven't written and like put it out there. Like I haven't blogged in like years, like literal years. Like they're basically like blogs, like mini blogs, so they're so long. People are like short caption. I'm like, that's never me. Like I'm such a long caption girly. Like if I give you a short caption, like I'm like, I give you a short caption, like I don't know what's happening that day. That's not normal for me though. That's like a one-off, like, yeah, you might get it. But like I am a long form caption girl and I've seen success with it. That's why I'm like, it's different things for different people. Your people are gonna find you regardless, but you have to put yourself out there. You have to show up. You have to be consistent. And I need y'all to understand that consistency does not mean like daily you are out in like the world or daily you are posting. Some people that you can't maintain that level of consistency, and that's okay. Sometimes your level of consistency is like, I can give you 3 times a week because I'll be online 3 times a week, and like that's it. And it's like, okay, can you do it like if you're YouTube like once a week? Can you like? There's just different. I think people need to let go of this idea that like consistency looks the same for everybody. Just like doing business looks the same for everybody. It does not.
Right.
But you have to like find like that's why you have to know yourself. I think so many people get into entrepreneurship and like are like ready to make all this money, but then at the end of the day, you talk to some of these people and you realize. I know, Peanut, that you don't know yourself and you don't like, they don't know themselves and they don't like, and they're not kind to people. The other thing, I'm big on that. I'm like, you're not going to treat people any old kind of way in front of me. I'm like, I'm going to clock it. I might not say anything the first time, but I'm going to clock it and be like, so how do you treat me behind my back? Because what you're not going to do.
Exactly.
Is that
exactly.
Right?
Yes. So, yes. Girl, you touched on so many points. First of all, I want to bring it back to Damsel. First of all, that is me and my baby's favorite movie. We love Damsel. And I think there is so much gold that is written into movies. I think that is another way of writing is another way of connecting to that godlike energy, that creator energy, right? And I feel like there's a lot of truth in those movies, like the action movies, the even the kid movies. I watch movies with my daughter and I'm like, damn, I'm inspired. Like I could do it. Like, and I take that energy and I transmute it to wherever it needs to go. And going to the portion where you was talking about like being uncomfortable. And I think those moments when we are uncomfortable, we are being pushed to exercise it more and more so that we can become comfortable with that skill, that goal, whatever it is. Like me personally, I'm uncomfortable. I don't even know how to put this into words, but since we're here, we're gonna go here. I am uncomfortable with success right now. Like it scares me. I know the level of responsibility it comes with. I know the impact it'll come with, the eyes it'll come with, the demand it'll come with, and I'm nervous of that because I like I'm a big personality, right? I also need my me time. You know what I mean? And I know that part of that I may have to sacrifice or find a way that it works for me. You know what I mean? And being in demand can be overwhelming for me personally. So it's uncomfortable. And I was just talking to my homegirls the other day, like, y'all, I am scared of this. And they're like, girl, just do it. And I'm like, I'm trying. I'm trying. And it's not an easy push to go for it with it all the time. Right. And I think that's also where that discipline comes in and just continuing to do it scared. So I'll like drop little reminders for myself. And I love Twitter. Oh my God, I love Twitter. I've been a Twitter girl since it came out. It's still Twitter in my mind. Like, that is my space to think out loud and talk to myself and also connect with like minded people who feel the way that I feel. And I love it because I'm tweeting things for myself. Like, let me tell you something. Do it whether you're scared or not. Push through. And I'm talking to myself. But that just inspired 20 other people because they retweeted it. So they feel like that. And I'm like, okay. Then I'll take it to, because again, going to that uncomfortability. Social media makes me uncomfortable because again, that entitlement, that power, that visibility, that demand is there. The reach is there. The success could be there. And I'll drop a comment for myself. Like my title could be like, keep pushing or just something like that. Like, and it's for me because when I go back and look at my story in my feed, I always look at the comment that I left for myself, that title that I left for myself. And that's my marker to see my growth. And I was also talking to my sister about this not too long ago. My younger sister, she is like one of the most outspoken, intellectual, artistic people that I know, a person that I know. And she's very viral on Instagram. And we were talking about obstacles one day. And we shared the same obstacle. It's that fear of what to do now or propelling forward, right? And the success that comes with it, the responsibility that comes with it. She's younger than me. She's way younger than me. And giving her advice was also advice that I also needed for myself. No matter what, we're going to mirror each other. You're going to mirror anybody that you relate to. right? And I said to her, well, think about it like this. The obstacles that you have this year isn't the obstacles that you had 2 years ago. That's growth. And then in my mind, I'm like, girl, your obstacle was you didn't have any trolleys. It was just a thought. Now you have 2 trolleys and you're trying to get more. Like that's growth. We're moving. We're moving. That's all that matters. We could take it at our own pace. And it was reminding her, right? Because these are all things that we know. And I love saying the word reminder because intuitively, you know what to do. You just need that person, place, or thing to remind you of what it is that you need to do to push past whatever obstacle you at currently. So I just thought it was pretty cool how you brought up all of those things because, I mean, it resonates with me, you know? And I think as a creative, right? Because words are so deep. And I like to say that I am a creator, but in my mind, there's only one creator. So maybe I'm a creative. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm an extension of that thing. So I try to choose my words wisely because I don't know. That's just where I'm at right now. And I was telling her, like, you are creative, right? You're a visionary. You can do whatever it is that you want to do, measure your growth through your obstacles. And here and now, I said, let me go write this down. This is a reminder. This is a reminder. So I encourage you all to leave reminders for yourself. It's like those breadcrumbs. Leave those breadcrumbs for yourself so that you have a way to say, okay, let me remind myself of that discipline that I need because I'm not feeling motivated right now. Let me look back at these reminders. Let me have a vulnerable conversation with this person so that I can be reminded all over again. And if you're uncomfortable, good. Good. I love that for you, right? Because now you gotta exercise. You gotta exercise that muscle so that it no longer becomes a uncomfortability. Or I don't even know if I said that right, but that way, I also like to compare it to like when I was growing up, we used to play Tekken and like fighting games and stuff like that. So Super Mario and all that stuff. And if you think about it, with every level, those obstacles build. But with every level, your character also grows. So you can be on the beginning of level 5. It's gonna be hard because you've never been to level 5 before. But you have the training to get there. You trained your character. You know what I'm saying? Like you trained to be here. You deserve to be at level 5. You beat the other, like, I mean, it's obvious, you know? And as long as you keep playing that game, you could keep doing level 5 over 10 times. That's okay too. The important thing is mastering level 5 so you can go to level 6. It's going to be hard again, but that's okay. Just keep repeating. Keep repeating. Girl, we doing something here right now.
Look, I told you, I said at the beginning for those who weren't here, like, Small Business Snapshots Live, as much as, like, because I was like, okay, I could call it Small Business Saturday, but there isn't a legitimate Small Business Saturday that is recognized, at least in the US. I'm not sure if it's everywhere, which is next Saturday, which is, like, when everybody does all their sales and stuff. But I was like, but I want to be intentional about, like, having conversations with small businesses on Saturdays because that's when most people shop anyway. But I'm like, but I never reserve it for like, we're just going to talk about business. So it's just going to be like who they are, what they do, and like what they need. And that's all that's going to come up. I said, I am way too deep for that. And I
Yes.
know how God likes to use me. So I'm not going to even say that. I was like, I always call out for like creatives in business. Whoever shows up is who's supposed to show up. I was like, whether it's somebody who doesn't comment at all, whether somebody likes, whether they gift, whether they follow somebody, whatever happens, like it's supposed to happen. But I was like, I never reserve it for just like, it's just us talking about business because something always comes, it does not matter when it could be right after somebody gets off, something always comes up that is connected to like a bigger message. And then I'm sitting there like, well, I didn't think that's where that was going, but I'm glad I caught it. It's
Mhm.
downloaded and it's saved forever because I'm gonna watch it
Yes.
and be like, oh, we did talk about that. Oh, because like when I say like y'all, my this head like nowadays be like by the end of these lives that I do on Saturdays, like I be wiped out, which is why I only do them like every 4 weeks. Except like I was like I can't do it every single Saturday because I promised you like I would not get anything else done because I'd be like tired
Hmm.
introvert. I need to recharge. It's gonna take me.
Yes.
I was like, I love y'all, but no. That's why I'm
Yes.
like, it's so funny because it's like, it's Live Fest right now and all this stuff. And so people are trying to like battle and all this stuff. And I was like, I just want to talk to people. I said, because if one more person tells me I need to have a talk show, I'm going to be like, y'all got a podcast and now you want a talk show? I feel like that's a like big gap, but okay. Like, I feel like I'm also kind of already doing that, but okay. But like, I love everything that you said. And I think like, you're right. Like, like being uncomfortable is like us being called to like work a muscle that like maybe we're just like afraid of is to like tap into and not let fear rule us because at the end of the day like emotions aren't supposed to rule us. They're supposed to like alert us to like maybe we're doing something we've never done before and it's kind of like it's a lot bigger than us and so it reminds us how small we are in the grand scheme of things but not in a like you're so small you can never do this. Don't ever. Oh, the reason I call it small business snapshots has nothing to do with like you have a little business. No, it's literally because like most people have a small business because they have less than 50 employees. That is literally one of the definitions of a small business is you have
Hmm.
less than 50 employees. And I was like, ever since I heard that, that's the only like definition I need to hear. I was like, nothing else matters. I don't care about revenue. I don't care about anything else. Do you have less than 50 employees? Okay. You
Yes.
qualify and you can like and I don't even care if you don't like if you're like, well, I'm a content creator. I'm like, you're still a creative in business. You do realize that like your personal brand is your business. Like that's it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I haven't had too many content creators like come on here, but I laugh all the time because basically most small business owners nowadays have to be content creators on top of that because of how social
Woo.
media, all the algorithms like work nowadays.
The
So
demand.
hello, that demand is crazy. So I was like, I love that we can get to deep conversations. I love that it's not just surface level. It's not just like buy my thing and like give me money and like all that stuff. That stuff is still important. That stuff is still important, by the way. Like, it's still important to like ask for those things because, like, yes, she has a whole fundraiser that y'all need to be like dipping into and making sure that like you are like supporting her. And if you can't donate, she's not going to be like, well, you can't donate, so I don't even want to know you. That's not how she works. That's not how
Right.
most business owners work. They're like,
Right.
can you donate? Can you share it? Can you like one of my posts? Can you push this out? Can you comment?
Comment.
Time, energy, and effort does not always look like monetary things, and I think that's the thing that people are caught up in is like they think they can only support like what I it only counts as support if I donate money or give money, and I'm like, no. You know how many people don't hear that like they're doing a good job? How many people don't like hear the words that like, ooh, I like this thing, or that nobody like gives any feedback? I said all you need is quite literally one person comments. I always like that's all you need. Like you pay attention to the people who are actually engaging with your stuff instead of trying to chase a million people down that don't know you. Like, yes, put yourself out there, show up on other people's platforms, like connect, network across, but don't get so focused on like, well, I need these big numbers. There's the
Nope.
case study, and I'm gonna tell it every single time I get on this live because I literally have told it every single time. There's the case study. She had 100,000 followers, y'all, on Instagram. This girl, I do not remember her name, but like 100,000 followers. She went to sell a T-shirt, like just she made a T-shirt, sell a T-shirt, and nobody bought. That's an issue because that's what you're chasing. You're chasing 100,000 people. That does not mean that they're gonna buy from you. Are you connecting with all those people? Are you talking to those people like they're actual genuine people and not a follower account? Like, what are you like? What benefits are they getting by following you? Is it just like that you're selling this product and that's it, or are you like giving like life talks? Are you relating to them in other ways? Like, for instance, you're like a mom, you're into astrology, like all these other things that you talked about. I was like, as much as people probably wouldn't be like, well, why would she even talk about that? And she's supposed to be talking about her business. I'm like, trust me, somebody's going to be like, oh, wait, she's into this too? No, I have to follow her. Like, like, oh, she's a mom and it has a business too? That's me. I need to talk to her because, girl, how are we doing this? Like, because I'm not a mom, but like, I know plenty of moms who also have a business. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know how y'all are doing this, but like, kudos to you. Like, I'm going to give you flowers every time because I'm like, I'm not even there yet. And I already know my brain is like, how, how does this work?
Yep. I think you hit a nail on the head just now. Like, I've noticed that the best people don't have 100,000. And let me rephrase that. I noticed that a lot of the people who are really driven, to be within a community a lot more, and don't care about the monetary aspects about things. Like, they really just care about genuinely helping the best way that they can. They don't always have 100,000 followers. And a lot of the people that I come across don't have 100,000 followers, but they have such a huge impact on my life. And I love to soak up information and knowledge and like talk. Like, I'm such a chatterbox. I'm so deep. You know what I mean? Like, so I benefit from that also. And that feeds me a lot. I mean, money's nice, but it doesn't move me. It does not move me. It's great to have. We need it in this time that we're in. Like, we have things to pay for, but again, it does not move my spirit, right? And I know that, again, touching back to what I said earlier, like, having 500 followers could be the right 500 people who will be easier to convert over 100,000 people who may be here for the many different parts of you that you're showing, right? So 50% of them might not be interested in a t-shirt, right? Like, they love the way you dress. That's why they followed you. They love the way you deal with your daughter. They love the way you travel the world. You know what I mean? So that conversion isn't always going to be a thing. And I'm learning that too. Like, the art of conversion and the right collaborations to help with conversion. If conversion is my number one thing at the moment, then I need to partner up and vet in. Vetting has time out. I do sales, right? And that is my 9 to 5. I do sales and I love sales. And the company that I work for, this is my first time doing outbound sales. Now, I was always an inbound, meaning I'm getting the phone calls and I got to get you over the fence. Outbound is, I don't know what you're doing on your side of town. I'm going to interrupt your day and tell you why this is for you. And ironic enough, I'm just going back to his name, but the creator, when I first applied for the job, I swore up and down it was inbound. Okay, I'm looking at the salary. I'm like, ooh, like commission structure. Ooh, everything's juicy. Sid, I get in a trainer and they're like, oh, this is outbound. And I was like, what? And my first month, I was so horrible. Like, I was so horrible. And I just went to my manager. I'm very coachable, very coachable. And I went to my manager and I was like, this is how much I want to make a month. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I don't. It's only my second month here, and I need you to lead the way. Tell me what I need to do. Show me what I need to do. And my second month in training, I made the most out of my training class. My third month, I made even more. Like, so it was such a change in my mind state because I realized I could really do what I put my mind to. And On my 8th month, the director pulled me in a meeting. I'm like, why did she put time on my calendar? I'm sweating. I'm thinking I did something wrong. Like, I'm like, why is she meeting with me? And I let fear take over my mind because that was not something, instead of thinking to myself, well, you've only been doing a good job, so maybe she's just here to commend you and notice your commitment and, you know what I mean? Like, give you some kind of praise. And I had the meeting with her and she was like, well, we want you to be in management. And I was like, wait, what? Hold on now. And I said, you know what? I'm going to accept the challenge. Why? Because I need to learn how to manage Davis Beauty Solutions better. I need to know how to fire and hire. I need to use my discernment better. I need to vet in. One of the things we do is we vet in accounts to call. And when I look at it to help me in my personal life, I need to vet in the right people. I need to vet in the right places, vet in the right things. You get what I'm saying? And be able to take what I'm learning at my 9 to 5 and bring it to my business. And I'm grateful for being in love with my job, like, because I do. And when I leave, it's going to be bittersweet. But I do know that this was ordained for me to be here and to be asked to go into management. And I'm not even in a full year and being asked to take certain training classes. It's just like, hold on, like, this is something ordained. This is bigger than me. And I'm being taught how to convince people why the hair solutions trolley is beneficial for them. And it goes back to cold calling investors, cold calling salons, like interrupting their day and being like, listen, I'm sorry that I interrupted your day. I know you're busy. I'm glad that you're busy, but listen, I got this tool that's going to benefit you. Sanitary benefits, right? And making them go, all right, I'll try it for a week. Okay, you try it for a week. If you like it after that, it'll be $150 for every week after. And some of them do it, right? Everybody's not gonna do it, but those people who do it, I know that there's a need there. They really like this product. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, wow, like, shout out to my job for teaching me the things about touch points and call to action and building a portfolio and being able to give them clear communication on how the benefits are going to help them. And then when I took the class with you guys, again, that word benefits came right back up again. And how you're going to be able to bring that call to action to them. You know what I mean? Like, all of the things that I was learning at work came right back around to get reminders, going back to the word reminders, to remind me of what I already know. Now God is saying, okay, child of mine, implement this to ensure that you have a successful path set up for yourself. Implement it. Woo! I better not start crying on here, Sid. If I start crying on here, I'm hanging up.
You start crying on here, I'll just be like, I probably should have warned her about that too. It hasn't happened yet. You probably, it probably won't happen. I haven't, like, there's not been a single like person that has cried on one of these yet. I would say that I always warn people. I'm like, if you are friends or in my circle, it's like there's like a 95% chance that at some point I'll make you cry, and it's not because I'm mean. I was like, but like the way that like God be speaking through me sometimes, I'd be like, I don't even know what I just said, but okay. I don't know how I know that, but okay. And then people are like, you always know what to say, and I'm like, bruh, that's not me though. I was like, that's the creator, because I'd just be like, I'd be like, I am not clocking you that hard, I promise. Like, I'm trying to make sure you're good, but I'm not like, I must know every little detail. I'm like doing like undercover work over here. I was like, it's literally like God is speaking through me, and I just have accepted that this is my life, because I'll be like, okay, who needs a message today? I'm like, what prayer am I sending? Who am I sending the message to? It's not always a prayer. Some people don't, believe in the same higher power that I do, and I'm respectful of that. I'm like, so I always like, I'll say it a different way, but I love that you brought up the fact of like these jobs that we're in, especially like entrepreneurs and people who are like going into like business, but like aren't at a point yet where they can go into it full time and not be the only like source of income. I was like, looking at jobs is not like this thing that is like taking you away from doing that. Like I know like the hours, yes, like aren't always like beneficial to like both like jobs that you're doing because it is a full-time job. As much as we're calling it a small business, that is a full-time job to have a business. Don't play. But like utilizing these jobs, I have always looked at jobs as like I need to learn something here. What am I learning here? Like, am I learning like what I don't want to do in my own business? Am I learning what I don't actually love doing in my business and would prefer that somebody else does? Am I learning a certain skill set that's going to benefit me? There are things that I've learned from jobs like years ago that I still utilize and I bring to new work that I do because I look at it as like this is a foundation thing. That is why my foundation is so strong. That's why I can go into pretty much any job and I can go across like industries and like I've mentored like hundreds of people that like are around different industries because I understand like I've just like followed my curiosity and been like, where is God calling me? And if I get a job, like I go for it. And like I'm like because I'm open to learning. I think that's the thing that we forget. Like you can't be an entrepreneur and not be open to learning. You will not survive this. You have to be like willing to learn and willing to grow and willing to like sometimes you're gonna be challenged because people are like, I know Peanut. Sometimes like people are doing things and you're like, I didn't even think to do it that way, or I didn't even see that, or like people will challenge you like your own customers and be like, well, why doesn't it do this? And you're like, I didn't even think of that. Like, wait a minute. Like feedback's important, y'all. So don't be afraid. Like the people that I always tell people, it's easier to sell to an existing customer or somebody in their base than it is to like, gain a new customer. I was like, don't look at it like, oh my gosh, social media, I need to have all these followers. No. Are you taking care of the people that already follow you and like already bought from you? Because if not, like we need to go back to the drawing board and figure out why not. We need to make sure they're good and like what like if they already have your product, what could you like what can you be offering more of? If there's something in addition to that product that would serve them that you like are like sitting on and you're like, oh, like that actually would be beneficial for them because like is it a cleaning product that is like specific to the machine? Is it like a certain like carrying case or something that they can like have? Like what are like certain things that like maybe people have all the time that nobody is thinking of because like just nobody takes the time to think of that because they're like not in the industry or they're just trying to make a quick buck. There are a million different reasons that people do things, y'all. I'm not gonna judge either way. I'm just saying like, just honest and it's like, oh, okay, like I need to be taking better care of my people. That's why I'm like, I'm not gonna limit like I look at people like they have the thing, they get the patents for, they get like invent things, and I'm like, that is like a whole different ballgame. And I like give props to you and everybody else that does that because I'm like, my brain is like, huh? Like, how? What? But like, it's also like fascinating. I'm like, I like love it, and I think utilizing your job to be a place. And I'm not telling you to go sell things at work, y'all. That's not what I'm saying. Because you can't get in trouble for that. Don't do that. Like, but I'm saying, like, if you're having a conversation off the clock, like with somebody that you just happen to work with about things, like, and like that, you felt called to do that, then you felt called to do that. Like, yes, you have do not pray for just patience, because then the world will try you. I'm just telling you, patience, wisdom, and discernment. Shout out to my girl for teaching me that. She was like, don't pay for just patience because like I promise you everything in the world will try you. I said, oh, okay, so I've never prayed one without the other now. I'm like,
Yes, Yumi's told me the same thing. She said, you pray for endurance. I said, oh shoot, game changer. Game changer.
I need to start praying that way. Like, please. I'm tired sometimes, but like I appreciate you for coming on this live. I appreciate you for talking and like as long as you did and talking about everything. I think not you don't just have, and that's the other thing I look for. It's not people who just have a global and like international business, but people who are building legacies, like have a legacy business, and they're already including their kids in it. Like I'm like that's such a beautiful thing, and I think so often like it's like people just don't talk about it because they're like, oh, nobody wants to like hear this part, and I'm like, no, like talk about it now. I know like you're not like on a different stage, but I'm like talk about it now because this is still a platform. It's still a stage. It's just digital.
Yes, it is.
So that by the time you get on an actual stage talking about this, you'll be like, oh, I'm talking about this now. I can do this in my sleep.
Yes, it's gonna flow. It's gonna flow. Yes.
You've got all the jitters out at that point.
Yes. Sid, this was so beautiful. Thank you for this. This was a great way for me to start my day. Like, you don't even know, girl. This was such an inspiration for me. I am so grateful for you. This is, again, so honorable what you are doing. You keep going because this is just the beginning.
Yes.
This
Like,
is just the beginning.
it was like a phase of like a very big project that like
Yes.
nobody knows the full package of, and I'm just sitting here like people are like you keep like you're a secret agent, like you keep moving in silence, and I'm like look, I'm like I can't talk to y'all about it because the creator won't let me. He's literally like
Yes.
shut up. So I'm like okay.
Oh, that's just one more thing. One of my brothers. Oh my God, one more thing, and I promise I'm done.
No, you're
My brother, I met him in college. The friends that I have today, my lifelong friends, I met them in college, different parts of the US, different parts of, you know what I'm saying? Like different cultural meanings and all the things. He's from California. Okay. And when I got to college, he was the only one, because you know, college is rough. Like going to school out of state isn't a whole nother ballgame.
yep.
And he was like, girl, you better pray. And he was the only person in school talking to me about God. And he said to me, it is, ooh, I lost my train of thought. Hold on. Let me bring it back. Hold on. What did you just say that reminded me of him? Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed.
No, you're
There's
okay.
so many things that he teaches me, right? And what you just said triggered me to think about him and give him flowers about that. And I can't remember that fast, which is so insane. But I just know that he was the only person talking to me about God, and that was influencing me to, and even still to this day. And he has such a great influence when it comes to preaching in his own way, in his own right. And oh, there it goes. I remember. Thank you, Creator. Okay, he always tells me to keep my endeavors clean.
Mm-hmm.
Keep my endeavors clean, and I will never ever forget that. And you saying that was a beautiful reminder of what he's been telling me for the longest. Whatever you got going on, you keep it clean until the Creator tells you
Mm-hmm.
to put it out there, because you don't know what somebody else is even thinking, right? And it might not even be negative to where they want you to fail, but it could be negative to the point where they wish it was them and they might start envying. You get what I'm saying? Like, and people also telling you, oh, you can't do that because they haven't done it, and they can't see it because God gave you a different vision for a reason. Because you have the endurance to get through it, the will to get through it. So I think that what you just said just sparked another thing, because also, he told me that because I have a habit of sharing when I'm really happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be like, oh my God, guess who? I just did this. And then I don't get the same excitement back all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heartbreaking. And it makes me feel like, damn, did I just taint a part of what the Creator is? You get what I'm saying? Although I know like what's for me, it can never be tainted. You know what I mean? But it's just still keep your endeavors clean, y'all, until the Creator says go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I digress.
Bro, she's serious though. I know, because I have a conversation in like 10 minutes on Instagram. But like, you're right though. Like, him saying like, keep your endeavors clean, and I've never heard it say that way. So props to him. All flowers to him, and all glory to God, because I think that's like the biggest thing. I get really excited too, and I do the same thing. I've been doing the same thing for years, and I finally got to the point where I was like, I need to start moving in silence more, because clearly, I'm just like missing something. And I was like, and I had to tell somebody else that I was talking to that like, I was like, that person, like, and it was not about business. It was about like something she had like purchased for herself, and somebody like reacted really weird to it. And I said, yeah, no, you need to stop telling people when you do things that are nice for yourself, when you treat yourself. Because not everybody's comfortable with that. And sometimes there'll be people who are really close to you, and you like say something and they act weird, and you be like, pause, pause, pause. How did we get here? Like, and you don't even say anything at first. You just kind of sit there and take note, and then you like think about it later, and you're like, wait a minute, like, okay, I need to stop sharing that kind of thing with that. Okay, God is showing me who that person is, because God will often reveal who's around you, because oftentimes he's not like holding your blessings because like you've done anything wrong, or because you're like you've sinned and bad, and it's like no. Oftentimes it's the people around you, and God will literally strip you of everything or everyone just to like be able to bless you the way He wants to bless you. And that's why I was like, I'm not in a rush to like get where everybody else thinks I should be right now. Like I want to be very intentional. I want to have the people around me who are supposed to be around me. You were right. Like whether it's like if I have 10 people following me and it's like that small group, it's like, is it the right people? Like I'm constantly asking God, like, is this the right people? Do you want me? Like I'll be like mid conversation and be thinking like, God, do you want me to say this? And if He calls and like tells me, and I always know the difference because like if it's the enemy, like I feel very anxious about it the whole time, and then immediately after, and then I'm like, oh, shouldn't have said that.
Yep.
I'm like, nope, thank you, no, thank you. And so I have to be like, am I calm about this? And I'll ask like repeatedly, and I know God and the angels will be up there like, girl, and I'll be like, look, I'm just trying to make sure that we're on the same page, and like this is actually you, because I would hate to do anything and like somebody get like a spirit of envy, and then I have to like sit here and decree and declare and bind that up and cast that out, because I will, but I'm just saying.
Yes.
You know, I think, and because the other thing is a lot of people will tell you like, well, nobody's gonna know about it if you move in silence. It's like, they're not supposed to though right now. Like God is trying to work in me and get something out of me first. I was like, and when it's time, He's like, okay, now you can run with it. But like doing it before He says it's time, like why are you rushing Him? He doesn't operate in like busyness and like rushing. That's the enemy trying to rush you through things. Hustle culture is not like, as much as people will be like hustle culture and like I'm up with God at this time and that, and like try to rush everybody. I'm like, is that really God though? I was like, because like I think yeah, God wants us to like hustle in the way of like He wants us to be disciplined. He wants us to seek Him first and all that stuff. And He wants us to like, sometimes we're not gonna get a lot of sleep with Him. We gonna like go to sleep and 2 hours later we're gonna be up and we're like, where are we at? What is happening? That was me this morning. I said, you do realize I have lives today. Why are we 4 o'clock in the morning? Why are we up? And I was like, okay, I need to pray for somebody. Got it. And so I was up for 45 minutes typing this prayer out, like full on. And I was like, and then God was like, okay, go back to sleep. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I think like we have to like stop identifying with hustle culture. We have to stop identifying like you need to tell, like people will be like, tell your friends everything. If you're friends, you should be able to tell them everything. And I'm like, I'm like, that's not how that works. You never know what that person's going through, like what will trigger them. You never like, and it's not that everybody has it out for you that's in your circle. It's just that like there are certain things that like they have an unclean heart about, and you're not gonna know. God knows because God went ahead of you. God knows because God can hear them, like can see everything. And so you don't even know until like God reveals it to you, or like you accidentally say something because you were being impatient.
Yes.
Instead of listening to Him telling you to shut up and sit down somewhere.
Oh my God, girl, you done pulled on my heartstrings. Let me go before I start crying. I knew it was coming. You done said that one thing that I just knew. I'm telling you, I felt it, girl. You hit my heartstrings. Thank you. I needed to hear that.
I was like, there's some, He wants me to say something, but I couldn't figure out what it was. And I was like, whatever it is, like, that's how we're going to end the live, but I don't know what it is yet. And I like felt it, and I was like, okay, I can't like just like, again, no rushing. I was like, not busyness, like somebody needs to hear something. So I was like, let me just say it. But I did not know it was you. I just knew it was somebody.
Thank you, beautiful. I hope you have a wonderful day today.
I hope you do too. Like, have the best.
Again. Invite me again, please.
Oh, yes, I will. You don't gotta worry about that.
I love it here.
I do too.